Hi, I'm Dave Dinkel, and the question is, do we have the top mentor program in the country? Well, frankly, I don't know, because I haven't gone to the other mentoring programs. If you ask other guys, and I get the question all the time, what's your average investor make? There's no answer to that. I've mentioned this many times before. We have two success levels. A zero, because the person quits, or they become very successful. So do you count their first year or their fifth year, or how do you do it? For Federal Trade Commission purposes, I tend to say that no one has ever made money in real estate investing, and there's no reason you should be able to either. So if you're going to go into real estate investing, go in with open eyes and know the way you're going to be successful is you have a real mentor who is really doing business on a daily basis and is looking over your shoulder. I mentioned in another video that our 4 accountability partners that work together, you have their cell numbers. How many national gurus give you their cell numbers? I interviewed my wife Nancy, and I said to her, Nan, what's the latest phone call I've gotten from a student? She said, 11 o'clock at night. It was an emergency, and I take the calls. I don't shut my phone off at a certain time, but I ask that you don't call me unless it's important. So I get important calls all day long. The other thing I wanted to mention to you about the program is typically we fund 100% of the deal. So when I say you have no money in the deal, the reason is we are funding it, I'm funding it, one of the other companies we have are funding it for you. Now, can we do that on every deal? Absolutely not. Why? Because we review the deals. And we have to be careful that the seller, the original seller, is not in cahoots with the investor, who then the seller sells to the investor that we paid for the property. The end buyer walks away because they were in collusion with the original seller, and effectively we own the property. That's called selling to the bank. And investors have been doing it for many years, and the banks just haven't caught on to it. How do they do it to the bank? They finance the property and walk away from the mortgage. So don't get caught up in what's the best mentoring program, or people saying we have the best mentoring program. I think we do, and the students who are successful think we do, and the ones that aren't successful, they don't know because they didn't do the work we required. But there's no measure except how did you do? And look at the testimonials and listen to the people in the program who are talking about how they did it. They're very personal interviews I've done with them, and they sort of talk about, here's how I did it. And a lot of times you're going to hear them say, listen to what Dave tells you. Because it's easy to think, that's kind of wild and crazy. It can't work, but it does. And we'll show you how. So, who's got the best mentoring program in the country, or in the state of Florida, or any place else? Don't know.